If you don't understand intention, then everything on the path will just be like banging your head against a wall. The most important thing that we can understand is the reason why we do things. And this is why the meditation paths, traditionally, the kind of silent meditation mantra paths, are positioned towards, or Zazen, are positioned towards having no intent, is because it's a very skillful way of training us to release the intention to remove our suffering. So traditions have the wisdom tools, such as meditation practices, that help us exhaust what we could say is like seeking energy. So meditation practices and other practices are a skillful tool of exhausting the seeking energy, of putting full throttle on the tank. If we typically, the seeking energy is kind of like parallel, or it's basically a formulation, another metaphorical way of saying our belief that happiness is still in the world, our belief that there could possibly be happiness to be found inside the content of my experience, and that somewhere in the content I will find permanent, unconditional happiness. It's not true, but even if we know that, it's like we're still not fully convinced. So there are methods to exhaust this energy. And one of the methods is understanding. Understanding can exhaust this energy. And the understanding is very simple. The understanding is that the seeking energy will continue until you realize that happiness is the nature of your mind. We're conditioned to find things by looking. Happiness is the one thing that is found by not looking. So if you think of it like, it's kind of like that example of like, you know, when you're looking for something and you're looking for it and you can't find it, and then you stop looking, and then all of a sudden it's just like right by your bedroom door or something, somewhere obvious. It's very similar to that. Once we stop looking, we don't necessarily need to stop seeking. Like putting an end to seeking is not necessarily the requirement. It's about realizing that the way we're looking is not working. It's not about looking altogether is not working. It's the way we're looking is not working. The way we're looking is what we would call the intention that we have with our looking. So most people get fixated on trying to end seeking, and I've even made titles about end seeking, but that's because I'm aware of the audience who watches the videos. But I always back it up with this understanding. Ending seeking is not necessary. There never has to be a point where you end seeking. Seeking will end irrespective of whether we try or not. What is necessary though, because you can't end seeking, because even there's videos out there of people doing coaching calls where they're ending someone's seeking, and then I can guarantee the seeking is coming back the next day or the next week or the next month, probably the next day or the next 10 minutes. So, because I've been there, I've experienced that many, many times. It doesn't matter what insight we have, unless we predicate it with this understanding that I'm sharing right now, none of it, you'll reset it all and you'll start seeking again. So you don't need to stop seeking. The thing that needs to happen is we convert into adventuring. And adventuring is basically moving through with curiosity and wonder. So we don't stop looking, we just change the intention. So the old paradigm says, I will seek to remove my suffering. That's what creates more suffering. That's what we call exhausting the seeking energy. You will do that for as long as it takes you to understand the message that I'm sharing with you right now. If you understand the message I'm sharing with you right now, well, your seeking energy will become exhausted and you will start to be curious. And what happens then is that you start to learn to be with the feeling of uncertainty. We know when you're like going about life and then you start suffering, or it's usually a form of, you go about life and there's some kind of like problem, or you think of something that is a problem, or something takes place in front of you and then after it you feel the suffering. In all cases, it's always some form of uncertainty, a lack of knowing what to do, and not liking that you don't have the certainty or the knowing of what to do. Because in most cases, if you knew what to do, like imagine this, problem arises, but you know exactly what to do and how to solve it. Well, then you technically don't really have a problem. Now, that's one form of it. Other forms of suffering could be you just don't feel good. You don't really know exactly why, you just don't feel good. But if you knew how to solve it, you would feel good, right? You would feel like, oh, but I don't feel good, but I know exactly what to do to feel better. or I know exactly what to do to stop feeling this way. So I feel good. You'd feel good, right? You'd have a peace of mind knowing you knew what to do to get rid of the suffering. Now, the thing that we have to learn is to release even that, urge, to first notice that urge that, oh yeah, I would have peace of mind. I would have peace of mind even if I didn't actually remove the suffering. I would have peace of mind knowing that I knew how. Isn't that interesting? I would have peace of mind. I would feel better, not to even remove the suffering, just simply to know that I know how. Wow. So do I really even need to remove the suffering? What you notice then is that you are capable of giving yourself permission to be happy and likewise, therefore, permission to suffer. So you are able to give yourself permission to suffer. You're also able to give yourself permission to be happy. So what does that say about the world that you're trying to seek happiness in? It means nothing. You're the one who gives yourself permission to be happy or permission to suffer. And all this is down to intention. So you're going about living your life, the suffering arises, you feel uncertain and you don't know what to do. Now, your job in this moment is to rewrite your entire habitual process of conditioning. How are you going to do this? You're going to do this by firstly sitting in the suffering and giving yourself full permission to suffer. In the past, you said, no, I'm not going to give myself permission to suffer. I'm going to figure out a way to get rid of it. In this moment, you're going to give yourself permission to suffer. Now, the next thing you're going to do is sit in the suffering, and you're going to start to allow yourself to be comfortable without knowing what to do. So the old paradigm, the last thing you wanted to do was do that. The last thing you thought you had to do something to get rid of it and solve the problem. But now you're going to start learning to live in the problem without trying to solve it. And you will this is how you transcend this level of suffering, giving yourself permission to suffer, then while you're suffering, allowing yourself complete freedom to just not have to solve the problem. And what will happen is when you get used to that, over time, curiosity will start to dawn. Now, it might not happen the first time, might not happen the second time, but you're getting used to living in uncertainty. You're getting used to living in the unknown. And when you learn to live in the unknown, magic happens. The magic is that that's actually where the place is to be. That's the adventure mode. So the premise of what I'm sharing with you right now is essentially a guide to the adventure mode, which is what I call the freedom before you're free. The freedom before we're free is basically like having freedom without having the full enchilada in a weird way. It's hard to fully describe. You can call it also the event horizon. It's like at the event horizon of a black hole, you're technically in the black hole, but you're not quite in the black hole. You're in the gateway to the black hole in a sense, but it's also technically therefore the black hole, right? The adventure mode is where it's really where the path begins. And you enter that mode when you, in the moments of facing the suffering, you give yourself permission to suffer and allow yourself complete freedom to not have to solve the suffering. And you just rest in that. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable, and you're going to hate it, and you're not going to like it. But this is the thing. Do you think that there's going to be a fun, easy way to do this? Not at first. After, yeah, but not at first. So you're not going to enjoy it. It's not going to feel good. But all of a sudden, it's going to dawn on you, actually, this does kind of feel good. Either that'll happen very quickly, or it'll happen after you've resisted for maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or 2 months. But it will take place. And you'll start to go, I like not having to solve the problem. It'll start to dawn on you, this is really interesting. And you'll start to feel wonderful and curious. Now, the wonder and the curiosity is the next step. This is the first form of thought yoga, or second form of thought yoga. You're going to now, with your curiosity, try to understand what is it that you actually suffer from. And once you get to that place, your intention now isn't to try and remove the suffering anymore. So now you're actually free to explore the suffering. Before, you're not free to explore the suffering because you're doing so in order to get rid of it, which perpetuates it and makes it worse. So unless you go through the stages that I shared with you, you're basically cooked. So unless you go through that, you will have to consistently try and, I don't know, carry on with your life and then come back here again at another time to realize it. Or you'll realize it in another way. But the premise of this is I I can't imagine not going through that part of the process because there's no other alternative. So curiosity and wonder is the start of the path, like you were as a child. And from that place is where you will be fully open and receptive to exploring your experience and exploring your reality for the sake of truth. So your desire has to convert from seeking happiness in the world, trying to remove your suffering, to being curious and seeking to understand truth. Understanding truth, seeking truth is about, it's an impersonal desire. And impersonal desires do not get hijacked by the separate self because they can't be. They can't be hijacked. So if you desire truth, it's an impersonal desire, or you desire God, whatever it might be. And you do so for the sake of love. And when you desire truth for the sake of love, you're in the purest place possible. So anything you do at that place is going to be, you're going to be fully receptive to understanding, to seeing clearly, to hearing clearly. And everything that you experience beyond that point is going to be completely in line with your true nature. I hope this video resonates. I have plenty more videos on these topics and I have a free community, and the link for that is in the description. If you'd like to join, I host free calls there every single week. So if you'd like to be there, I'd love to see you. Have an amazing day. Take care.